Hey, this is Max with Guitar Center. We're here at Winter NAMM 2025, and we're with Andy Powers of Taylor Guitars. Andy, how you doing?
Quite well. It's a beautiful sunny morning here in Southern California.
So, been a minute since we saw each other. I think it was probably GC Hollywood over the fall for a 50th anniversary event.
I think so. That was a wonderful day, and thanks again for your hospitality. That was a lot of fun.
So, what are we looking at?
Okay, this is part of our new gold label collection. This is a very exciting guitar to introduce into the guitar playing community. It's something I've been working on for a number of years now, and in a lot of ways, it's both a departure from the kinds of guitars that we've built, and at the same time, I like to think of it as a counterpoint piece. Now, if we look at something like a Builder's Edition 814, that's like the quintessential modern Taylor guitar. You know, it's ultra precise, super high definition, all the things that we love about modern acoustic guitars. And this piece is taking a page out of a guitar history book. It's the playability that we're known for, the note accuracy, the intonation, the balance that we're known for, but with a kind of sonic imprint of a kind of a bygone era in a lot of ways. It's almost like a new guitar with an old soul. It's a mix of the kinds of things I loved in my pre-Taylor guitar building life wrapped up into a modern instrument.
You say you've been working on this a few years. What was the moment when you said, this is a project I want to do? What did you envision? What were the key tenets here?
Well, you know, one of the things I love about building guitars is that there are lots of flavors, right? Every musician is as unique as their own fingerprints. And so there's lots of sounds, and you can love one thing and also love something else. And so this was a kind of a sound that we've started to dabble in a little bit with our Grand Pacific guitars and things over the last couple of years, but I wanted to go even further and borrow the kind of richness and warmth that you would find in a really old guitar, but put into a space where you could use it. It's balanced, it plays in tune, it does all the things that we like about modern guitars. This is something that's, like I said, I've been working on this in the kind of on my back burner in the shop for a number of years. And it wasn't until maybe about a year ago that I had the last puzzle piece that I wanted to put in placement. Okay, that's it. This is going to be an exciting guitar for players.
So to that point, the puzzle piece, you and the team at Taylor, you know how to build a classic Taylor guitar perfectly. What were the things you had to solve for? What were the challenges here as a designer?
Well, there's a lot of ways that you can climb that hill. But in this case, it comes down to major parts of the guitar. And so in this instrument, it's a new body shape. It's a totally new perimeter shape, new set of curves. It's a very classically proportioned set of curves. It's a new revision into the internal architecture. So a different voicing in this bracing. It's even a different neck design. So much so that it gave the guitar a whole new personality. I'm going to go even further. I'm going to go into the decorative elements and, you know, borrow some of my influence from the old 20s and 30s era instruments that I loved working on, with a different peg head shape, different hand-drawn logo, like all the pieces, even the engraved pickguard.
Was there any element that came first, that came faster, that came more intuitively or anything like that?
Well, a few of the pieces, once you get some momentum, they kind of just fall into place. But really, the neck design is something I've been working on for a number of years. And I will admit, I was not successful in my first attempt or the second attempt. I could get 95% of the way there, or even get it working kind of the way I wanted to, and then realize, man, I don't know that we could actually make this. This isn't going to work. I could make it once and it just about killed me. Okay, let me go back to the drawing board, try again. And so a couple of these individual ideas that went into this guitar are a long time in the making.
Okay, so we've talked about this guitar that you're holding a whole lot. Can you break down the specific model for us?
Sure. This is what we're calling an 814 in name, but it's a gold label collection 814. And so what that signifies is a new body shape, what we'll call a Super Auditorium body shape. It is an 800 series guitar in name, but it sets kind of apart in its own stylistic features. This particular one's Honduran rosewood on the back and sides, roasted spruce top with traditional ivoroid appointments, mother of pearl inlays, kind of its own package there. Mahogany neck, ebony fretboard, of course. One departure that is unique for this model is we're also using Honduran rosewood for the bridge. It's actually a touch that's taken out of the world of building classical guitars. It's very common to see an ultra-dense rosewood bridge with an ebony fretboard. It's kind of a key thing that we're doing on this guitar specifically.
And what does that unique combination bring out in the instrument?
You hear there's a richness and a warmth through the low end that is it's a characteristic departure from our guitars. I mean, a lot of players love the ultralinear, high-definition sound of our guitars, and that's wonderful. I like it myself. And in this case, this feels like a unique counterpoint piece to that kind of a sound where it is thick, it's warm, it's broad feeling.
One of the things that immediately struck me, it's like a smoothness to the top end. And as you said, Taylor has a characteristic high-def, high-fidelity quality that this is just a little...
It's just different.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Next to that. I don't want to overly, humanize a sound. It's hard to describe sounds. It's a very friendly sounding guitar. It feels like something that you're immediately familiar with and comfortable with, almost like you had heard it before, but you're hearing it in a new way.
It's not unlike some of the acoustics hanging in the vintage room at the Hollywood store we were looking at 5-6 months ago.
Exactly. It almost feels like you're coming home to something you've known and loved for a long time.
So you talked a little bit about new bracing design. My understanding is this builds on V-Class, modifies it a bit. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. This is a V-Class designed guitar. But one of the unique attributes with that particular platform is it's a very adaptable design. So on purpose, you could create different kinds of sounds with it. Now, when we first rolled it out, that was very apparent in the years leading up to that initial launch. And when you have something that's so radically new, it's best to stay in familiar territory. You go, well, we're known for doing this. Let's do just a little more of that. Let's keep it to our lane. And so it's exciting to see this unfold into the different kinds of sounds that enable musicians to play in new and creative ways.
So we've got another one of these to my left here. Can you tell us a little bit about this guitar?
Yes, that's also part of our gold label collection. Honestly, it's the same basic guitar. A lot of the same elements, same decorative elements, certainly similar kind of voicing, but built with Hawaiian koa wood on the back and sides, mixed with that roasted torrefied top. And so in a way, it's almost like a play on the classic rosewood spruce and mahogany spruce pairings, because the koa has an element of that mahogany-like characteristic with its unique density, but with an added sweetness and, of course, visual beauty that's like second to none.
When did you start bringing in the rest of the Taylor team? What were their reactions? And, how did you say, all right, team, we got to build something very different now?
Well, I'm fortunate to get to work with a really great group of craftspeople, because they'll see these guitars that I'm working on and kind of look over my shoulder. By the time I bring something out of even my home workshop, they're looking at it going, wow, that's, there's some raised eyebrows. And at the same time, there's so much willingness within the Taylor team to go, hey, that looks like fun. Let's try that. Let's do it. Let's go for it. We'll give it a shot. I'm really proud of the work that all of our engineers and machinists and production staff have been able to do with these guitars, because they do feel like something very special.
What's availability looking like on these? How soon can we expect them to be hitting GC stores?
Well, we've been building them for a number of weeks now, and it's exciting to see them every day getting strung up, tuned up to pitch for the first time, and go, oh, this is going to be good. So yeah, they'll be hitting stores pretty quick here.
Andy, thank you so much for your time. These guitars sound great. If you want to learn more about the brand new gold label collection from Taylor Guitars, go to guitarcenter.com. And if you want to keep following along for all the latest new from NAMM, head to GC's YouTube channel.